waiting for this to start on my laptop. And you know, every time I come back and I check these live streams afterward, there's always like a bit of a delay from when it starts. So I'm never sure if I'm already talking to people or if there it goes on my laptop. Yeah, so I'm already in the middle of talking on my laptop. I was just saying how I don't know how long the delay is from when it says you're live and it actually starts recording me. My boyfriend just got up and he thought he had enough time to get his coffee made before he started being, you know, to get all the noisy stuff done before I started streaming. And then of course his alarm went off on his phone. So if you caught that, sorry. But good morning, everybody. Today I have an interesting topic. I am a little bit behind. People might have noticed. I'm a little bit behind on responding to comments and emails and Instagram messages. So if you did send in a question on there, I'm so sorry I'm not going to get to it on this stream. I will get back to you and I will respond to it on the next live stream next month, which will be, I can tell you right now, it's going to be on August 15th, 9 a.m. California time. But no, I'm just a little bit behind. It's been a hectic month, so please forgive me. Please be patient with me. I'm so sorry, but I will get to all of them, and I know they're sitting there waiting, and yeah. But good morning, everybody. Today, I wanted to talk about dealing with doubt and sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable in my sitting arrangement. Dealing with doubt and imposter syndrome with yourself, with your practice, your spirituality, magic in general, your own abilities with magic. It's a mix of like, because that can cover a lot of different things, right? Like the reason I want to talk about this also is because this is something that I dealt with a lot in the beginning of my practice. And right now I'm reading the book, Intuitive Witchcraft by, I can't think of the author's name. I'm so sorry. It's okay. I'm going to do a book review on it anyway later. So I will tell you then. But I'm reading the book Intuitive Witchcraft, and one of the exercises early in is to journal about your spiritual origins, right? So when did you know you were sort of drawn to this path? And how did that go? Was it smooth? Was it rocky? You know, just I typed out all my thoughts and feelings and things going back into childhood, even before I even really found witchcraft or paganism. And it just really got me thinking about that. And I had also noticed I was on Reddit recently, and in one of the subreddits, somebody was talking about how they felt a sense of imposter syndrome because when they've gone to pagan gatherings, a lot of people there have like, you know, they're very like alternative styles or like cottagecore styles, and they just felt like kind of like they stood out as being out of place, which of course, like you don't have to dress or look a certain way to consider yourself a witch or a pagan or a magical practitioner of any kind or anything, any label on this path, right? Like you don't have to look or dress or style your hair or wear your makeup any particular way. You know, the whole like witchy aesthetic, if that's for you, great. And in my opinion, witchy aesthetic, like when we think of that term, we look at it as being sort of alternative. But there's also a lot of areas where it's more like the cutesy cottage witch, you know, and who lives in the forest and wears peasant blouses and has little like cute, like I have these cute like antique mushroom canisters in my kitchen, and I don't know, just like thinking of things like that. And it's however you define the witchy aesthetic, like even if that's not how you dress, whether it's because you just don't want to or you're not comfortable in that clothing or whatever, like it doesn't. Anyway, I got a little bit off topic because doubt can cover a broad array of things, right? Like you could also just have, let me get to my script actually so I don't go off on a side tangent as I sometimes do. So yeah, when you are feeling doubt in any regard, whether that's like, I feel like I don't fit into this community, or I feel like my magic isn't as good as somebody else's, or or I just don't, and now I'm starting to question magic's real. Like it's something of a spiritual crisis. If, of course, magic is spiritual for you, it isn't spiritual for everybody, but it is a sort of crisis. And it's definitely come up for me before. Good morning, Kara. It's definitely come up for me before, especially there's been times where I had multiple spells in a row, just back to back to back, not work. Hi, Antoinette, good morning. So first of all, it happens. Like it happens, you know, if it hasn't happened for you yet, that's awesome. And I hope it never does, because it is really crummy. But you have to know it doesn't make you any less of a witch or a pagan or a Wiccan or a magical practitioner, sorcerer, whatever, you know, whatever you label yourself, if you label yourself at all, it doesn't make you any less of those things. You're allowed to have doubt. Personally, I feel like that's one of the beautiful parts of this journey, is that you're allowed to have questions. You know, I talked about this in my sort of stream of consciousness video where I talked about working with Hecate, where it's just like, I feel comfortable that I'm allowed to have questions. I'm allowed to have doubts, and there's no like threat of going to hell, or like a vengeful God is going to punish me for having like a crisis of faith. So to me, that's kind of a beautiful part of the journey. But secondly, yeah, I'm not trying to diminish that this happens. And, you know, some people do leave the path due to doubts, and it happens. For some, doubt is the beginning of a realization that something just doesn't fit for them on this journey. And that's okay too. Of course, I'm not really going to talk about that today, because, you know, this is a witchcraft channel. This is not an ex-witchcraft channel. So, but I did want to acknowledge that it happens, and it's, you know, you may come back to it later, of course, but I just wanted to acknowledge that those people are out there. So we're gonna just mostly focus today on those of us that have stuck around despite those moments of doubt. Sorry, again, I'm trying to stick to my script, because I will. Yes, exactly. So, and it's such a broad, you know, a lot of people go like, well, I don't really do a lot of ritual, or I don't do a lot of spells, but I still consider myself a witch, or I still consider myself a pagan. But then when you go online, especially, you know, especially when you go online and you go into those communities, a lot of it is about spells. A lot of it is about ritual. And same with, yeah, there are lots of pagans out there who don't practice witchcraft. There's a lot of people who practice witchcraft and don't, you know, for them, it's a secular practice. It has absolutely nothing to do with spirituality. And so sometimes it can be hard to feel like you fit. But that's, you know, that's one thing I always like to encourage on my channel, is that like your brand of whatever it is you label this journey for yourself is completely valid. It's completely valid. You don't have to feel like you're doing something wrong, or, you know, you don't fit in. It's just like, yeah, sure, you may not want to join like a specific type of coven if it doesn't fit for you. But for the most part, you know, I feel like there is issues with gatekeeping in the community in some places, of course, but the community is so vast that you can always find your group somewhere, or of course be a solitary practitioner. There's nothing wrong with that as well. But really the first step with dealing with this doubt, this imposter syndrome, is to figure out what it is specifically. Because like I said, this can cover a lot of things. There's a lot of areas where you can kind of doubt yourself, or doubt your abilities, doubt your practice. So if you're just kind of feeling this like ambiguous sense of doubt, meditate on it, you know, journal about it, figure out what it is specifically. And it could be more than one thing, of course. So are you dealing with doubting the existence of magic, the existence of deity? You know, that's something that I do struggle with. I don't want to say I struggle with it. I don't. I've kind of come to terms with it. I'm okay with my questions about deity. But that was a reason that I hesitated on working with deity for so long, personally. So, you know, are you doubting your abilities? Are you doubting your place in the community? Or the, you know, like the efficacy of a specific spell. Could it even just be one specific spell? Somebody just popped in, and I hold on, let me pull up the chat because I want to say hi. Oh, hey, Lisa. Real fast, shout out to Lisa over here. That is Lisa's Beyond Authentic. The I is a number 1. Actually, I want to let everybody know, Lisa, confirm this for me. You're doing a live stream after this one, right? About 10, well, I guess it would be 10 a.m. my time. I don't know what time it is for you. I'm sorry. But I think you're up in about an hour and a half. But let everybody know in the chat and they can head on over to your live stream afterward. By the way, I was saying earlier that I'm way behind on emails and comments and questions and Instagram messages. So I haven't forgotten you. I just want to let you know. In about 2 hours, 7 p.m. UK time. Okay. So about 11 a.m. California time, if you're California time, and yeah, pop on over. Lisa does tarot, is also just a very enjoyable, very fun watch. I'm going to try to tune in. I'll probably be able to tune in for a little bit. I'm not sure if I'll be able to stick around for the whole thing though. But sidetracking. Okay, I'm back to my script because I know I would have. I'm so glad I have a script because if I didn't, I would have totally forgotten where I left off. But I always like to say hey really fast. So yes, start off by identifying what the actual doubt is. Like, be as specific and as honest with yourself as you possibly can. Because once you know the root cause of a problem, usually you can tackle it. Like you can't really figure out, if you just have the symptoms, but you don't know the illness, it's hard to find the cure, right? Like you can treat the symptoms here and there, but it's hard to really defeat it unless you actually know what the root cause is. So I suggest writing a list of all, once you know what you are doubting specifically, write a list of all the other possibilities. Like if you, like I said, one of the big things where I started doubting myself and I started doubting magic when I first started my journey was I had a quick succession of spells, none of which worked. And it wasn't just that they didn't work. It was that I was having trouble connecting. I was having trouble connecting with the ingredients. I was having trouble with my focus. I was having trouble feeling like my energy was really moving into these items. Like I was having trouble with my intuition and with sensing things in doing these workings. So it wasn't just like, oh, I waited 2 weeks and it didn't happen. And it was also like a long period of waiting and going like, none of these worked. And then I tried one again and it still didn't work. And I tried it a slightly different way and it still didn't work. And, so I suggest if it's something like that, sit down and write a list of all the other reasons that maybe your spell failed. Like if you're doubting magic or your abilities as a magical practitioner because your spell or your ritual failed, or you're just not like feeling energy movement, or you're not feeling connected to certain things, write down all the other things that could be. For me, it was this, like I said, this was early in my practice. So it was definitely like an issue with not being able to focus well enough, not having a really good grounding and centering practice down, and things like that. And once I started writing a list of like all the other possibilities, and sometimes it even just comes down to like, this just wasn't meant for me, at least not right now, like write down all those other possibilities. Look into reasons why sometimes spells don't work or backfire. Examine your basic practice. Like I said, my big issue was I wasn't centering and grounding. I didn't have a really good kind of not routine, but habit of practicing that. Are you getting kind of lazy and skipping over steps, like centering and grounding? Are you putting out offerings? Are you still putting out offerings to deity if you work with one? Did you just kind of like, oh, I'm not hearing from this deity anymore. I'm not getting signs anymore. I don't feel connected to them anymore. Well, are you still putting out offerings? What is it that you're approaching them with? Like, are you just dialoguing, or are you just constantly asking for things? Have they asked you for something and you haven't really followed through with it, or you just kind of did and went, good enough? You know, are you maybe dealing with like mental health issues that need to be addressed? You know, like I know when I'm really stressed out or if I'm really depressed, you know, sometimes those energies, not the stress so much, but but like if I'm really depressed, depending on what I'm working on, sometimes I can use that and sort of through, you know, emotional alchemy help it work for me, but sometimes it can also just completely throw me off. Um, and that's with connecting to everything, connecting to the divine, connecting to nature, spell work, of course, connecting to others in the community, that can really throw me off. So it's really hard for me to bring a concise list when the list of, you know, the top causes of doubt is so broad. But I hope you guys get my point. You know, and sometimes it can also just come down to you're surrounding yourself with people that are kind of throwing things out of whack or are, you know, pushing their own doubts on you. So figure out all the other things that could be causing this doubt and write a list of them. You know, there's often a lot to unpack, but just thinking to yourself like, oh, magic isn't real, or oh, I just can't do it. It's so dismissive of not only magic itself, of course, and the divine in our universe, but of yourself as well. When if you really stop and take the time to think things over, you can usually identify another issue. Um, and when you dismiss yourself or your magic, you're essentially abandoning yourself instead of remedying the actual cause, right? Um, so if there's another issue at play, you're both turning your back on your practice that can enhance your life, right? And you're going to allow this issue because you're not addressing the root issue. So you're just going to allow this issue to keep wreaking havoc, which could absolutely affect other areas of your life as well. So treat the actual problems, not the symptoms, right? Like, you know, what is the saying? Like, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I think I'm using that correctly. Hold on, I need some tea. I'm like, my mouth is really dry today. It's been kind of warm, like in the 80s Fahrenheit. It's not crazy, obviously Fahrenheit, but it's not too crazy, but warm enough that I'm just like, I need more water, like all the time. Or not necessarily water, I need refreshments. Okay, sorry, I'm almost done with this, I swear. Keep in mind that there's nothing wrong with sometimes taking a step back. Like I mentioned earlier, some people completely step away from their practice. That does happen, where people just say this path isn't for me, and you know that happens to some, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm definitely not one of those people that's dismissive of, you know, ex witches or ex pagans, ex practitioners. But you don't have to be one of those people if you don't want to. Sometimes you can just take a step back, and whether that is your practice as a whole because you just really need to focus on other areas of your life, or just something specific in your practice. You know, and I've had to do that several times. You can just say, you know what, I'm going to take a step back from everything, but I'm going to keep up my meditation practice or my mindfulness practices. Or, you know, I'm going to keep my space cleansed and do ritual baths, but I'm not going to, you know, do full spell casting if that's your flavor of witchcraft or magical practice, I should say. You know, you don't have to, you can still keep magic or spirituality in your life without it being, you know, overextending yourself with all the extras, even if they do, you know, just come back to it later. Just come back to it later. Or you can also like retool your practice. Some people don't really do spells at all. That was mentioned earlier. Some people just don't. It's not, you know, that's a very personal choice. For some people, it's not their thing, right? You can also, like if you feel like you're banging your head against the wall with a specific thing, like a specific practice, like divination or energy work or astral projection. I know astral projection's a big one I have problems with. Like just to take a break from that specific practice. you can come back to it later, or you may decide it's just not for you, because with this journey, there is no one size fits all. You can take what works for you and leave the rest behind. That doesn't make you less than, that doesn't make you inauthentic. That just means that you are figuring out your own unique brand of this journey, right? Of this path. And keep in mind that the more frustrated you are with trying to do a certain thing, the less likely it is that it's going to work for you, because that frustration, it's going to stress you out, it's going to spike up your cortisol, it's going to make you lose focus. You will be less likely to get results. You'll be less likely to accomplish your task if you're like, I'm so frustrated, but I'm just going to keep trying. Like, I'm definitely guilty of that in in a lot of things. In a lot of areas of my life, I'm very guilty of that. But, just take a break, get your witchy back later, just keep that in mind. And like I said, there's no one size fits all. If something doesn't work for you, set it aside. Sorry, now I'm repeating myself because I got off my script, but yeah, there's, maybe something ends up working for you later. Maybe you come back to it later. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just discard it and say, that's not part of my practice. And, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason to question everything just because one area isn't really working. Just like in mundane practices. So everyone has different skill sets within, like, if you look at a specific practice, like say somebody's like an incredible artist, they can draw, they can paint, they're just like insanely talented, but maybe they have too much of a heavy hand for watercolors. And sorry if I'm not a painter, so I don't, but maybe that's just the one area that they're just not great at. And that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't invalidate the whole rest of their artwork, right? So if you compare it to something like that, again, don't throw out everything just because one thing doesn't quite work. Like I used to be really frustrated with tarot. This is partly because my first deck, it just never really took a liking to me. But even after I got a different deck, I just still was never getting clear readings. I do still practice it sometimes, but I have found other forms of divination like bone reading and runes that work way better for me. And it's kind of crummy because tarot's so popular and there's so many people out there who I'm just like, their readings for themselves or for other people are like so accurate, and I just find them so fascinating, and I'm just like, I wish I could do that, and I can't. So I'm a little envious. Of those people, but I just realized, like, I still keep my mind open with it. I still have a couple of tarot decks. I just don't work with them that often because, and that might, although that might be a cyclical thing. They may be like, you never work with us, so we're not going to work for you. I don't know, but but like I said, I just found other things that worked better for me. And then other things I do still struggle with. I do still struggle with astral projection was one of them. I want to astral project so bad. I want to be able to do astral travel, and that's just one area. I'm gonna keep trying. Like I said, I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna take my own advice here. I'm gonna be as frustrated as I can possibly be, and I'm gonna still keep trying, damn it. But it's one area that so far is not working out for me. I actually got a video request and I meant to respond to that person because they asked me to do a video on astral projection, and I just went like, oh no. Like, that's one topic that I was like, I am not equipped to cover that. But actually, this is random, but if anybody is interested on more information on astral projection, Jessie Huntenberg, she is now under the name, I think it's The Mind Witch, here on YouTube. And she's been like practicing astral travel since she was like a little kid. I also love her videos in general, so definitely go check her out. But anyway, that was a side note. I think that was it on my on my script. I had a much nicer kind of wrap up written on my laptop, and I didn't go with it because I totally sidetracked myself. This is okay. Let me get caught up with the chat. That is it for today. Feel free to continue discussing this topic or asking questions about it, but I'm also now going to open up the chat to general questions, general chit chat, and of course we will do our bone reading in a bit. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a sip of tea. I'm going to get a little bit of nicotine because I'm an addict. Don't smoke, everybody. Don't. But I'm also going to just read the chat really fast and get caught up. Good morning, Boo. Good morning, Manning. Oh, okay. Sorry, first of all, I really try not to vape on my channel at all because I feel like it's like unprofessional, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Uh, sorry, I smoked for years and then I switched over to vaping and I enjoy it. It's like one of my only vices. So, that was a weird side note. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of things that sometimes I just take a step back and I just like I won't do any spell work for Veronique. Veronique. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. I don't know why. Good morning. Let me know if I am. It's Veronique. Sorry, now I'm thinking to myself. I try to get caught up in my head about mispronouncing names. Good morning. Anyway, yeah, there's been a few things where I had to take a step back from and just focus on other areas. So I still felt like in tune with my practice. And sometimes it was just, oh, it's good afternoon for you. Good afternoon. But there was a few times where it was just like, I was just overwhelmed and stressed out. And I kind of started to feel that bleeding into my practice as opposed to my practice bleeding into my other issues and kind of calming them. Right. So I had to just kind of take a step back and be like, look, this area of my life is what I need, where I need to put all my focus. And I still want to keep in tune with my spiritual side. But it needs to, most areas of it need to sit on a back burner for a little bit because my life is going to be completely like out of whack if I don't get this thing over here taken care of. That happens. That's life, right? So, I Ching. I'm going to look into that actually. Yeah. And then, yeah, I've actually been, a friend of mine has like, she has like so many oracle decks, so many, and they're gorgeous. So that's actually one. I have another friend who has, she has like a goddess oracle deck, which is also really gorgeous. And so I'm kind of thinking about trying those out and just playing around with it. Like I'm really happy with, like I love the runes, but I feel like I've betrayed them a little bit. Although I have been playing with my new rune set, but I feel like I've betrayed them a little bit because I've just fallen so in love with the bone readings, and especially with after I did the video on it, and then I started incorporating them, into the live streams and into the monthly vlogs, and I just love bone readings. They're fantastic. I think it's just because it's so personal. You put so many like personal items in there. I feel a little guilty, like I'm cheating on my runes, but I don't think they view it that way, so it's fine. But I actually still need to kind of bond with my new set, the Green Aventurine set that I got with the Spiritual Goodies subscription box, which they're so beautiful. If you guys watch that video, I said that like 50 times throughout the video, but they really are. So, but I still need to take some time and like bond with them and then play around with them a little more. So how is everybody's weekend going, first of all? And my mouth is so dry. This is probably why I shouldn't have hit my vape, because that's going to dry out my mouth more. what I would love to know what your guys' plans are for Lamas or Lunasa, whatever you call it. I'm actually coming out with a video on the history of it this week. I think that one's coming out on Wednesday. I don't know what I'm doing on Sunday's video, but let me know what your plans are because I'm curious. This one personally is not a huge Sabbath for me. I will still do something, and I'll still do something with the Coven, but it's not one that I really connect with. Partly because it's for like a variety of factors. I don't really connect with this one. It's, I live in California and we harvest like all year round here. So that's part of it. I know there's a lot more to it than that, of course, but I don't know. I just never really felt a big connection with this one. And I also like, so I was diagnosed with celiac disease, by the way. Sorry, that was like a big topic last live stream where I was just like bitching about, about all of my health issues. Well, I finally got a diagnosis. I was going to talk about this in the vlog. I'll talk about it more there, although I won't go on a long tangent during the vlog about it. But basically, I had to completely cut gluten out of my life. But now I'm just like, this Sabbath is all about gluten. I mean, obviously it's about grains, right? And there are grains like corn and rice that don't have gluten in them, but it's like wheat, barley, rye. Even oats are naturally gluten-free, but you have to find specifically gluten-free oats because they're usually grown in a place that's also where they also manufacture or grow like wheat, and so it tends to have cross-contamination. So I'll probably just make a corn dal and call it a day. Like, I want to make a dry flower bouquet of only deep golden and fire flowers. Ooh, that sounds gorgeous. Yeah, I think I don't know what I'm gonna do. I do have I do have something planned with the coven, but even the rest of a lot of the coven members are like, we'll celebrate it and we'll see if it works for our coven because we kind of want to make our own wheel of the year, not like make our own, but kind of modify it for what works for all of us as a group. And if a certain Sabbath just doesn't resonate with us, then we just won't trip over ourselves trying to celebrate it. And this is kind of one of them that a lot of us have been kind of like, I'm not, of course, not to dismiss it for anybody who loves this Sabbath or does resonate for them, of course. It's just, I feel like the wheel of the year should be very personal and a lot of people don't modify it. And I want more people to know that you absolutely can. Like if a Sabbath just doesn't resonate for you, that's okay. You can skip it. You can treat it like any other day. You can just do something small for it. Not a big deal. I did a video on that, but I feel like I didn't go as in depth with modifying it as I could have. That was like one of the first videos I ever put out over a year ago. And so I might do that again. But yeah, I'm exactly, Boo. I'm mostly like, I'm not gonna really celebrate Lunasa, sorry, as much as I'm gonna celebrate finally having a diagnosis. So I'm very excited. I'm very happy about that. But I probably will do a little something. I always, as much as I talk about like modify the wheel of the year for yourself, I always like feel like I want to do at least a little something. But I've also got such a busy next few months coming up, and that the weekend of that, like there's my sister's birthday is like right after the Sabbath. So I'm sort of like, I'm gonna go visit her, and then there's other stuff going on, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll probably like go hiking. You guys know me. Okay. Mm-hmm. Ooh, a little mead. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, Yeah, see, I used to, well, not that sorry, like I'm reading about how you get excited about all the Sabbats. Like I do too, but I know with some of them, it's more of a feeling of like, I just like having things to celebrate. But then when I think about like, what does this Sabbat represent? For me personally, I'm just like, eh, eh. But I usually do a little bit of decorating. So, because I just like having excuses to decorate. Oh, Kara, I know. I'm always excited for Mavon. Um, and then yeah, I also always like that's the other thing. I'll usually with the Sabbats, even the ones that don't like in bulk doesn't that's another one that doesn't really resonate with me a whole lot. I still do celebrate it, but yeah, I always like having excuses to decorate, excuses to celebrate, and excuses to eat. So um I will probably but that's not like I said, I'm like I can't eat gluten. So I can't I could actually make that my first because I haven't tried baking gluten-free bread yet. So I might have to do that this year for it. That might be fun, and it's something I need to do anyway because I want to practice. I mean, I generally eat pretty low carb, so I'm not sure. I kind of just want to anyway, though. But I'm trying to get back into like low carb eating, obviously completely gluten free, but low carb eating as well. And I gotta lose this extra weight that I gained. So, um, hi Samantha. So Llamas is it is the Oh, sorry. Oh, hold on. I'll get to that one in a sec. I get distracted easily. Llamas is the first harvest. So I'm actually putting a video out. So I'm doing one video this year that's coming out on Wednesday that is about the history of Llamas or Lunasa. And then last year I put out a video on, it was kind of like a brief overview of what it's about. And it, uh, I talk more in last year's kind of all the Sabbath videos for last year. I talked about decorating, things you can do, good spells for that time of year, things like that. So I encourage you to check out both. But anyway, that Lammas is about, it's the first harvest, which usually means like grains and cereal grains. So like rice, corn, wheat, barley, rye, oats, things like that. So that's why you'll see those used a lot in a lot of like traditional like things to do for Lammas is like bake bread, make corn dollies. There's a lot more to it, so I'm just gonna try to keep it short. But it's also about, we spent the last few Sabbats, sorry, because it's the first harvest, it's also about sort of reaping what you've sown. So if you've put a lot of hard work into something, now is the time to kind of celebrate that. Pat yourself on the back, maybe, sorry, I had a side thought, but I'll get back to that in a second. Pat yourself on the back. It's also a time of celebrating like a variety of different skills. So take a moment to acknowledge any hard work you've put in, especially when it comes to developing any type of skill. I'll sum it up with that. But definitely check out the video I put out last year, and then this Wednesday, 7 p.m. California time, there will be another one about the history of it. Sorry, the side thought that I had was I have a lot of trouble celebrating my own accomplishments because I have a tendency to be like, cool, I did that, on to the next thing. Like I never take a break and just go like, wow, let me just kick back for a minute, take in what I did, be proud of myself. I'm always like, I can do more, I can do more, I can do more. Like I'm always just like on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Which is why I'm like a neurotic, stressed out person all the time. All the time. And my boyfriend's always telling me like, you need to stop and be proud of yourself. Like he's always telling me that. And I never am. I'm always just like, there's more. There's always more to do. So I'm actually wondering if that's another reason why I don't resonate with the Sabbath, because I'm not a person to take a break and be like, you know what? take a little break, take a breather, mini breather, and just look at all the work you put in, look at all the great things, the rewards you got out of it. I'm always just like, check mark, done. What's the next thing? Like, oh, you guys, I just had a self epiphany. Oh boy. All right. There's some shadow work to be done later. Kara, that sounds amazing because that's like super fresh corn. That's awesome. Um, oh yeah, so Samantha, that's another. Also, if you head over to, you'll see Beyond Authentic in the chat. That's Lisa. If you head over to her channel, she is going to put out a video as well on Llamas, and so make sure to catch that as well. And I feel the same way. Like I always feel the need as part of my practice to just at least acknowledge it, like at least acknowledge it's there and it's happening, and that there is a shifting of the seasons, because I think you guys all know, like a lot of my practice involves cycles and changes, liminal spaces, liminality in general. And so I feel the need to sort of like at least acknowledging that things are shifting. Even if like the overall, whether it's like the seasonal or the crop aspect of it doesn't kind of resonate with me, I also try to look at, you know, the other symbolism that's there. And for that one, a big part of it is acknowledging, you know, reaping the rewards, acknowledging your own efforts. And like I just realized I have a lot of trouble doing that. But yeah, even if they don't really resonate with me, I do take a moment to at least acknowledge what it is, what it means. And, you know, I like, I know for me, sometimes like, I view my channel as kind of a big part of my practice. Like even just getting on and making a video or talking about these things, for me, you know, you put words out into the universe, you put thoughts out into the universe, you connect with other people, and that is like magic working in a certain way. Even though it's not like you sitting down in front of your altar and doing a dedicated spell, like if you connect magic to an action, it is magical. And so for me, every video that I make is magical. And so sometimes that's what I'm also like thinking, I'm like, what am I going to do for all the Sabbath videos next year? Because that is part of my celebration too, which I find to be really cool, because in my mind, I'm just sort of like, that's also me celebrating with everybody who watches this video, everybody who comments on it, everybody who likes it or dislikes it even, you know. It's, I don't know. Anyway, sorry, my brain is just working overtime. And let me catch up in the chat. Yeah, Antoinette, I'm the same way. I'm curious if you celebrate certain, like, do you celebrate like Samhain and Halloween, or just Samhain, or do you kind of combo the two? Same with like Yule and Christmas and you know, Easter and Ostara. Like, well, I don't really celebrate Easter at all, but I definitely like, I just always think it's interesting to see different people's different viewpoints on or just like how everybody does, because everybody does things a little bit different. So I find that really interesting. What? There's a blood moon retreat in October. Sorry. That just sounds really fun. Yes, like it's also about the Celtic god Lu, which I talk about a bit in, I will be talking about, I've written the script already, so I will be talking about a bit in the history video. There's also like other things that I'm gonna acknowledge in the video, but I'm not really gonna cover. Like there's the sacrificial god, there's the sacrificial cutting of the wheat, there's what's his face? John Barleycorn. I was gonna say, I'm like, Lisa just mentioned it earlier, so I have to scroll up and find it. just because I am trying to keep those history videos like bite size. So I think like next year I'll do like a as long as it doesn't get boring for people, I might be like further in-depth videos on Samhain, on Lammas, on this, on that, like on the different, we'll see. I don't know. Antimatter. Oh. Okay. It's never boring. Oh, wait, my videos? Oh yeah, I just like sometimes I'm like, am I being too repetitive on certain things? Am I, I'm always critiquing. I'm always self-critiquing. Like, is this like even with the live streams? Sometimes I'm just like I like a big part of live streams that I just enjoy is just like hanging out with you guys. But sometimes I'm also telling myself, I'm like, if I'm not like actively answering questions, is this gonna be boring for people? But then I don't know. It seems like you guys just like to chat, which I like. So it's fun for me at the very least. Okay, so we can keep talking. I am going to go ahead and do the bone reading now. So give me 1 second. We're just going to do a general reading for everybody. If you're brand new to this, bone readings the items in here are very specific to how I found them, what they mean to me. So they are very specific. So if I pull out an item and you're like, that doesn't correspond to that, that's the reason why. It's because it's a very specific meaning to me. I do have a video on, kind of putting your own set together. If you're interested in watching that, I will link it you can find it on my channel, but I'll link it in the description later. Yeah, okay. You called me out. Returning to doubt. That's me. No, I do. It's interesting. Like I doubt myself a lot, or I'm like, I think it's because I don't know why. Like I'm very self-critical in a lot of ways. And some of it has to do with, I think, the fact that I did acting for so long and I did theater, film, television, like I did a lot of acting for so long. And that job mainly consists of somebody else watching what you're doing and telling you how to do it better, right? That's what a director's job is. I mean, that's not entirely what it is, of course, but I'm so used to, and then I've also been in the director's position, and I think like that sort of like just altered something in my brain where I'm just like, everything can be better. Everything can be better. And not like necessarily with, I'm not constantly critiquing everybody in my life or anything, but I'm constantly critiquing myself, and that like everything you're producing can be better, whether it's videos or just like anything in my life really. I mean, part of it also has to do with just like everyday insecurities and doubts and things like that. But I just have that artist's brain where I just am like, it's never finished. Nothing is ever finished. I can always do better. I can always do more. And that's also like part of my issues with productivity, where I'm just like, I always have to be productive. I can never take a step back and appreciate the work I've put in. I have to move on to the next thing. Like that also has to do with like, that's got some deep rooted childhood, catalysts, but yeah. Yeah, and see, that's sorry, Antoinette. Yeah, like I do tend to like I just celebrate the sun all summer long. Like all summer long. I love celebrating the sun. I'm allergic to the sun, but so it's a love-hate relationship. But yeah, I celebrate solar energy, and I work with the sun a lot. I mean, I work with the moon as a regular part of my practice. but I especially take the time to try to work the sun into a lot of my own rituals, spells, regular workings all throughout the summer. Even if that's just like, instead of meditating indoors, I'm going to go out to my balcony and meditate in the sun. Because, you know, like the sun is just has such a great impact on our lives. Both as, you know, as humans and as witches, of course, like it's a mix of both. So I just like, you know, show a little appreciation where appreciation is due, or credit where credit's due. So I definitely do that as well. Like I just kind of try to incorporate solar energy and the sun into as much of my workings and my practice as possible throughout the summer. Not to say that I acknowledge it, like that I don't acknowledge it the rest of the year. It's just probably like a little bit less, especially because I am more connected. I feel more of a connection to the moon in my own personal craft. So good morning, Justin. Or I guess it'd be evening for you. If you want to discuss that further, go ahead and send me an email. I'm at bewitching.bemused@gmail.com. Okay, so it's afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, go ahead and send me an email if you want to discuss that further. Sorry, that's like a lot to take in. And I need some more details to kind of like address that properly. So, okay, we're gonna do okay, good. No, I was just like reading it and I was like, ooh, like that's intense. Like that sounds intense. And I'm sorry to hear that. So I'm like, but let's discuss that further for sure. Sorry. I hate how it disappears on my phone and then I gotta go. Okay, sorry. I bought a fern yesterday and found it. I love ferns. I absolutely love ferns. I've actually been wanting to get more. Sorry, I know I keep saying I'm gonna do the bone reading and I keep getting distracted. That's okay. I have a lot of sorry, I want to cover my living room with ivy and ferns and succulents, but I'm not sure if all of the succulents will get. I mean, my living room gets a lot of sunlight because I have a skylight, but I'm not sure how well they would do. But I just want to like, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, where I'm just like, I just need more plants. I need so much more greenery in here, and I've been like trying to pick out different areas. But I forgot where I was going with that. I just love plants. I like ferns. I really like ferns. I actually need a fern. I don't have any. Okay. Sorry, I'm distracting myself. I like can't keep a single train of thought because I'm like thinking, I'm trying to talk about one thing, but then I'm also telling myself, Tiff, you gotta do the bone reading. And okay, here we go. So this is a general reading for everybody. Like I said, if you haven't tuned in before, I just do a 3-item pull for this one. So it's just a general reading, a message. Like if you feel like it doesn't apply to you, it may not. It may have been like, hey, there's one person in here who really needs this message right now. Exactly. I that's why I love having plants everywhere. They just make me happier. They're like constantly cleansing the air in your space, both spiritually and like literally, you know. They're just so good. Hey, Amber. Pitt the Elder, direct descendant of Pitt the Elder. But yeah, and plants just, you know, even if you look up like even like witchcraft aspects aside, if you just look up like the scientific studies behind like keeping plants in your home for your physical health and for your mental health is just like, I love plants. Like I want them everywhere. Some areas, like my bedroom doesn't get a huge amount of sunlight. Definitely more than my old apartment. Oh, let me tell you that. But it doesn't get a huge amount of sunlight. So sorry, I'm just like cleansing these up right now, kind of shaking off the energy. But I want plants everywhere, is my point. Okay, Tiff, focus. Focus, Tiffany. Jeez. Okay. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Shaking them out. Oh, interesting. Aha. Give me 1 second while I think this over. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Or just wait patiently. Sorry, just bear with me. I'm an earth sign. Sorry. I drew a blank. I'm a Virgo. So astrology is not my, not that I'm not interested in it. It's just something that I haven't actually. Sorry, it was a loud motorcycle going by. If you didn't hear that, that's why I was pausing. It's not that I'm not interested in astrology. I just haven't done my research yet because it's a lot. Like there's so much. So I just haven't like gotten to it yet. There's a lot to get to, but I am a Virgo on the Libra cusp. I know that much. That's like the most I can tell you regarding that. Okay, let me take a little peek. I always like to kind of refresh myself with my list of definitions, not definitions, but meanings behind the items, because it helps me kind of generate like, okay, what does this mean? So first thing is this rock that I picked up during a hike in Arizona. There's a story behind that hike that would make this meaning behind it a lot clearer for you guys, but let me just read the meaning to you. You don't want to hear the whole story. Anyway, so it's even when you feel lost or far from home, all you have to do is ask for help. You know that you could push onward, push forward on your own, but the way is treacherous. And it's better to just, don't put yourself or anyone else in danger. Just stop, call for help. I did say I picked that up on a hike in Arizona, so we got lost. we weren't like really in danger, but there's more to that story. So this button represents an outsider or another person. So already, even without the third item, I'm kind of picking up, although the third item might throw a wrench in this, but what I'm kind of picking up is that like either like many of you, or at least one of you, it might be a little bit lost somewhere in their life, in some aspect of their life, and there is help coming. You just need to ask for it, and that help might be from like an unexpected place, from somebody that you don't know yet, who you are going to be meeting soon. That's kind of what I'm getting out of that. The final item. Oh yeah, this was fun. So this is a jawbone, little jawbone. So we did get one piece of bone in this. Sorry, I'm trying to like. There you go, little jawbone. So this jawbone represents like a mystery, but usually it's like a positive one. It's a positive mystery. This is also an item of repurposing. So if you find that there's something in your, excuse me, I'm so sorry, I had to burp. If you find that there's something in your life that you aren't quite utilizing to like its fullest potential, or it's just kind of like collecting dust, whether literally or metaphorically, you need to turn it into something useful. It can also stand for useless teeth, like unnecessary aggression or unfounded aggression. But honestly, I want to say with this reading, so I want to provide you guys with all of this, because if you see this crop up like in a few days or in a few weeks or at some point, or it's happening right now, and I'm misinterpreting this, I want you to have all of the information of like what this item stands for. So that's why I'm telling you everything, but purposefully. personally, what I would get out of this is that, like, yeah, like, there's something going on in your life where you're feeling a little bit lost. And yes, you could push forward on your own, but like, why do that to yourself? Why stress yourself out further? Why potentially like make this situation worse for yourself when help is on the way? You just have to reach out for it and make sure to look for it. And I want to go with the mystery on this one. I want to feel like I'm really getting the sense that these two are paired together, so that whoever this person is who can help you, it's a mystery, but it's a fun one. It's like, or not a fun one necessarily, it might be, but it's a positive one. So this person who can help you in this situation, who it is mysterious. They may be somebody you don't know yet, who you are going to be meeting, or it could be somebody that you like, maybe you need help with like a work project, right? And you need to, but somebody from like, another parent in your, like your child goes to preschool and another parent there could actually be a great networking opportunity to help you with this work project. Or I don't know, that's just like a random, but look in unlikely people and look in unlikely places and like consider, just stop and meditate on it. Like, who do I know that could help me with this? And maybe they're helping you in a way that in this situation you hadn't really thought about. So if you feel lost in a certain situation, stop and meditate on and or journal about, what are all the ways that I could be helped in this situation? Who should I reach out to? Who should I talk to? Because also, like, if you think, oh, if I forge ahead and do this thing, well, there may be an alternative solution, but it's a mystery. And this person holds the key and you hadn't thought about asking them because you hadn't thought about like, hey, that's a really good solution to this problem. So that is your reading for the month of July. I don't know why I said it like that. Thank you, Amber. First of all, sorry, I'm getting caught up on the chat. Antoinette. Oh, yeah. No, I think it has more to do with Virgos are very organized. Some might say neurotic. So that's how I take it, is that I'm just like, well, wait, is Libra an air sign? I'm curious. Somebody who's more like knows more than me, please let me know. I think, isn't Libra an air sign? Because I asked that because I've had a lot of people say I have a lot of Libra traits, and I often, a lot of people will say like, I love when I meet somebody for the first time and they can pick out what your sign is. Like, I love that. But a lot of people guess me for a Libra, and I always say no, but I'm on the Libra cusp. So, and they always go, that makes sense. And it always makes me wish I was much more knowledgeable about astrology, because I'm like, that's so cool. How did you do that? So that's, anyway, yeah. Sorry, back to the chat. Let me check up on this. Kara, oh, do you mean like, did I assign that for based on Coraline? I didn't. I really like that movie, but I didn't. This one was it like has to do more with this came in a pocket of I bought a jacket at a thrift store, and it came in the, I'm actually trying to remember what the jacket was because it was so long ago. Sorry, that's why a little scatterbrained. But anyway, it doesn't matter, Tiffany. It doesn't matter. Let it go. This came in the pocket of a jacket that I bought at a thrift store, but it didn't belong to the jacket. So it was just like, it was a fun surprise, but it was just like, I was just like, how odd. But so I kind of view it as like, this is an outsider. It's in this pocket, but it doesn't belong here. Like, it's an outsider, it's an other type of thing. So that's where I got it from. But ooh, I actually really like that. That's a little added symbolism. Libra is air. Okay. So, Antoinette, you're probably right on. Yeah, you're probably also right on with that. Because, yeah, a lot of people always tell me when, you have a lot of Libra qualities. So, that might be it. Um, and even just you just now doing that makes me go like, damn, I wish I knew more about astrology because I want to be one of those people that's like, you're a Capricorn, aren't you? Or, you're a water sign, aren't you? Like, that's so cool to me. It's just so witchy and mysterious, and it's cool. Anyway, I really should start studying astrology, but um, my brain is so all over the place. Like, I mean, I'm constantly reading and constantly learning, but I always tell myself, like, okay, we'll sit down and put the work in and learn this one thing. And I'm like, okay, I'll start. And then I'll start something else as well. I'm reading 4 books right. Wait, no. I'm reading 6 books right now. Like all at the same time. And some of them are PDFs that I have open on my laptop. I have 4 of them open on my laptop. I have 2 hard copies and 4 PDFs open on my laptop. And sometimes I just skip around in the tabs. And I'm able to keep them all separate and straight, but I'm just sort of like it's not like I get bored of one of them. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just all over. I'm just like, I need to absorb everything. Like, I don't know. I'm crazy. Yeah, Lisa, that's like, yeah, there's so much to astrology. And I think that's where, like, actually, if anybody has a really good beginner's book that they would recommend, please, please let me know. Because that's part of the struggle is I haven't found a really good beginner's book that's not just like, here's characteristics of each of the signs. Like I want to know how to read my birth chart, for instance. Like there's so much. And then of course, if you really want to be that person that's like, you're I can't think of any of the terminology right now. You're a Leo in the 5th house. Is that a thing? I don't know. Um, there's a lot of memorization, right? If you want to be that person, I would love to be that person. I probably never will be because it takes a lot of learning and a lot of memorization. I have mad respect for people who know a lot about astrology because it is so much. Okay, sorry. Let me scroll up a little bit. Justin, I think you should like not be in a car ever again. Sorry, I'm not trying to make light of that. That's insane. You're September 17th. I'm September 20th. Um, my birthday's coming up, and it's right before the autumnal equinox. But what was I gonna say? Sorry, I am like my brain is so hyper today. It's all over the place because I was just starting to think about we're doing a little birthday road trip in September for my birthday that I'm really excited about. But it's partly for my birthday, but partly for other things as well. We have like a little memorial service to go to. So we figured like, well, why don't we make it a 5-day trip and do a thing? But anyway, I was thinking about one thing and then my brain was like, ooh, I'm looking forward to that visit and that trip. And like, I'm so all over the place. Ugh. Your planning and notes for today were definitely Virgo. Yep. Your mind was worrying like an air sign. Yes. Okay. Okay. Antoinette, you know what you're talking about. um, yeah, you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. Like I'm very organized, but then I also have to tell myself like, but you need to stick with the organization because I go off on side tangents and you guys all seem to enjoy it, or at the very least, you're very nice and you humor me. Sorry, I gotta scroll back up because I lost my spot. hmm Yeah, I can't just read one book at a time. I mean, sometimes I can, but it's usually when it's a book that I'm just gonna binge read in like a matter of hours or like a couple of days. I've had a few books that I've done that with, but I mean, mean, I've had several books I have done that with, but usually I am just like, what do I want to focus on today? And there's always just like, I have like, you guys should see my Amazon book list. The wish list is like, I think there's like 100 and something books in there. And that's not even counting like the PDFs I've like, or like ebook ones that I've purchased and I have sitting and waiting, and my bookcase, I also have like a bunch of books I haven't read yet. But that's why I'm just like always reading, always reading. Okay, yeah, Lisa, let me know how that book is. Because actually, yeah, like I've been really interested in moon signs recently because I haven't looked into it yet, but I've been curious about it. Because first of all, I did just read that very disappointing. I don't know if you guys watch my book review, you know I was very, very disappointed with that Moon Spells book I read. But also, yeah, I've just been looking to kind of expand my work with the moon in my practice. And so I'm just trying to find more and more ways to incorporate lunar energy, and let me know how that book is, because I will get it. Warrior Witch Knight. Okay, hold on, let me. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Sorry, I'm looking it up so I can have the browser open. Yep. I haven't actually, I know who you're talking about. I've heard of this YouTuber, but I haven't actually been to the channel yet. Sorry. Excuse me. Okay, so I just opened up the page and I'm gonna like probably binge watch that later. At some point. I always tell myself I'm gonna binge watch things and then I don't. Yeah, I will definitely check her out. Cool. The live cast remains accessible afterwards. Okay, sorry, I was getting caught up on the chat. Okay, everyone. I think that's everything for today. I am gonna definitely take all of your recommendations. I'm very excited. I think that part of the reason my brain's all over the place today and I'm a little bit hyper is because I feel so much better. I talked about my health issues so much last live stream that I don't want to drag it out with that again, but I do want to like mention that now that I have my diagnosis and I'm like, I've been, a few weeks gluten-free now, or about 2 weeks gluten-free. Like, it's like night and day. I spent the last year and a half just being so chronically tired and fatigued all the time. And I just always like felt so crappy. And now that I feel better, I'm just like bouncing off the walls and I need to calm down a little bit. It's a great thing, but at the same time, it kind of makes my brain run rampant. And I'm just like, now that I feel better, I can do this and I can do that and I can do that thing. And I'm already such a go-getter to the point that it's overwhelming on me sometimes that I just need to chill out a little bit. That's what I need to do, just to chill out. But I am having a great day. Oh, thank you, Amber. Oh, it smells like old bookshops and chilled Sunday. I love that smell. That's like my favorite smell, old bookshops specifically, but also like antique shops in general. Ugh. I'm probably gonna go upstairs to my bookcase and like pick up an old book that I have and smell it when I'm done with it. It's like my favorite smell in the world. If there was a perfume with that smell of old books, like I would wear it. Like that might be weird. Like people might like be like, "Oh, you smell interesting," but I love that smell. Yes, grounding. Amber, you're calling me out. Thank you, boo. Yeah, I'm like Amber, you're hella calling me out. That is so funny. You're right. No, you're absolutely right. I'm like, because I also kind of went into this live stream today, like, I need extra energy, like it's Sunday morning, like, yeah, I need energy and blah blah. And then I'm also like, I just finished up my coffee and now I'm drinking tea. And I'm like, on top of all the extra energy I already have, like, as soon as I wrap this up, I am. This is what I said. Didn't I say this? I'm really bad at taking my own advice. Calling me out. Okay. I'm fine, you guys. But thank you all so much. Wait, are they? Hi, Hannah. Oh, I know. I don't mind your teasing. You're totally fine. I'm just like, oh, she's totally right. What? Sorry, Hannah, you just blew my mind. Book perfumes are totally a thing. ALT fragrance has one called Novel. Sorry, I gotta open this in another browser really fast. Because I'm 100% buying this. What? My mind is just absolutely blown. I didn't know this was a thing. This is so cool. I'm like so excited to read the description. Clean, vegan, and cruelty free. Awesome. Wood notes. And the pepper, which is mild. That's so cool. Because that's what I always like. I was thinking about. I was like, I guess if you just smelled like old books, that would be a little odd. But yeah, like if you mixed it in with kind of like a woodsy smell, or like a musky kind of scent, that would totally work. That would totally work as a cologne or a perfume. And I'm like, I need it. I need it. I'm so glad you did. I thank you. It's for every present. That's so awesome. Old books and old leather. Oof, yeah. I love those smells. Oh, honestly, Justin, I can't help you with that. I do not know how those stickers work in yeah, I know there's like something with super chat where you buy a sticker, and I honestly I don't know how it works. Like I've never used it myself. And then even from my perspective, like there's not much to see. And like when I read it, when I activated super chat, like it even then YouTube didn't give me a lot of information on it. So I don't know. I can't help you. I'm sorry, but I do appreciate you attempting to purchase a sticker. But Hannah, yeah, no, thank you so much. And I'm also glad you decided to pop in, because I always like I always like to just hang out and talk with everybody. Maybe if we sprayed about it will stop the need to buy books. Yeah, would that be like a ooh. It's like a nicotine patch, right? Oh, Lisa, thank you so much. Yeah, actually, Justin, like if you're interested, I total not obligated. I really always appreciate it. There is a little button at the bottom, with like a dollar sign. That's if you hover over it, says show your support. There's that, but I am also on Coffee and Patreon as well. The links for those are down below in the description box. It's totally up to you. Thank you so much for anything that anybody gives. I always really I always really appreciate it. It's so sweet. Yay! Oh, so that's the sticker. Is that what that is? Lisa, you'll have to tell me because I don't know. Is that because I see like the cool sticker here? Or like GIF, I guess it'd be GIF sticker. Well, stickers, anyway. Yeah, I don't think anything can stop a witch from buying books. It might just dull the cravings a little bit. um, that's so true, Kara. Like I just, yeah. I'm like curious if that's the sticker because I'm so confused as to how it works because I know you like buy things and then you spend. I don't know how it works. I'm so sorry. I should know because like I want to make this like my full-time job, so I should know like how I can make money. But I'm also one of those people where I'm just like I don't try to like constantly actively like ask give me money obviously like I try to make it worth your guys' while, but so I have no idea how giving money on YouTube works. I'm so sorry. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into that and then I'm not good at marketing myself, so I should probably like know how to do that and then answer people's questions about it. They're like, "I'm trying to give you money, Tiffany." And I'm like, "I don't know how." What's it? Oh, that's so weird. I don't know what. I'll take that $5 holla. Noob is $5 holla. Um, yeah, YouTube likes to, sorry, I was reading the comments on my phone, so I was like awkwardly close to the camera. YouTube, wow, that's a big cut. That's a really big cut. I didn't even realize it was that much. Like, that's insane. Oh, YouTube. Yeah, so actually I like coffee, it's ko-fi is also like always a good route as well. And they there's like a small, very small percentage taken, and I think that's actually from PayPal. But anyway, enough about money. I feel guilty talking about money. So I just really appreciate you guys so much, and everybody who's donated on here, and everybody who's on Patreon, and everybody who has purchased my book, and everybody who's bought printables on Etsy. I just like appreciate you guys so much, and I just like I'm always asking like I mentioned earlier, I'm always like critiquing myself. So I'm always like, am I doing enough? Because I always, if you're gonna give money, like I want to make sure it's absolutely worth what you're paying. Like, you know, like I want to make sure it's worth it, right? Like to you guys, I mean, like I want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. And so yeah, I'm always just like, can I do more? Can I do more? Okay, sounds good. It's an industry term. That's really funny. Is it Lana or Lona? I think it's Lana, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Let me copy it. It's in the, oh, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh. It's in the description of every video, but I will absolutely put it in the chat right now. Sorry, I'm like sloppily trying to copy and paste. Here you go. Welcome. I'm glad you felt the calling. I am actually wrapping up right now for everybody, if anybody just popped in. But welcome. So if you popped in later, you just popped in, you will be able to see the entirety of the live stream from the very beginning, like right away. Yeah, Lana, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And yeah, you're right. I really need to do that, Lisa. I'm not good at this.